Yo, what's up, everybody? I want to thank you for tuning in to another Tyler Perry's Sister Review, Season 3, Episode 1, entitled When You're Confused. And I don't like this title because I don't believe anyone on this damn show is confused. I think they're using being confused as a justification to do whatever the hell they want to do and to act however the hell they want to act. I hope the sound is okay. I have been having some technical difficulties. This should have been out a while ago, but like I said, we having some problems, but we gonna get it out and we gonna make it work. We gonna make it do what it do. So if this is your first time listening to one of my reviews, what's happening? Glad to see you. Glad you're here. If you are a returning family member, y'all know it's always good to engage with you guys, and it's been a minute. So I am excited that the show is back solely so that I can engage with you. It's not because of the show. And we're going to talk about that more a little later. But, if you like what you hear, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Mostly just subscribe and, like and comment so that we can, get some engagement going on. So this is the first episode of season 3. And there were a lot of mixed feelings about it. It wasn't a lot of interaction on a lot of the fan pages. A lot of people were disappointed. What I will say is that I don't think it was a bad episode. I just believe that we ended season 2 and season 3 picked up exactly where season 2 left off. So you really don't have anything to look forward to that's new. Because probably for the first 5 episodes, we're going to be watching season 2 part 2. That's how I really feel about it. Like it was some interesting things that happened, and we're gonna get right into it. So, and I'm gonna be jumping around. The first we open up with we open up with Andy, Jasmine, and Gary just lying on that damn bathroom floor. He ain't moving, he ain't moaning, he's not making any sound. So we don't know what's going on with Gary, although we know that he's not dead, he's not going anywhere. He's still gonna be on the show. Jasmine is extremely touched. We all know that. Baby girl refused to drop that gun from Andy. She kept it on her the entire time until they fell on the bed. And even then, I'm like, this chick is really crazy. But Jasmine did admit to having an affair. Jasmine admitted that she was setting up Gary. And you know what? I believe that Gary played a role in that. She was not lying about Gary being an abusive person. She was not lying about the need for him to be in control of all things when it concerns the women that he's with, even so far as to isolating them from their friends and family. So everything that Jasmine did say about Gary, we did see it manifest as in how he related to Andy. We saw all of those things. I will say this is a storyline that I really don't care too much about. It's even worse than how me not caring about Sabrina and Calvin. So this storyline is, I'll be glad when it has read its course. And the way that Tyler writes, this is why I think a lot of people were just upset about last night's episode, because these storylines have been going on for 3 years, and I think people just want something fresh and want something new. But we're not going to get that anytime soon. The police officers come, and it made me a little uncomfortable the way that officer was touching on Andy. I'm like, what is going on? Why are you touching her like this, sir? But just disgusting. And I'm just gonna finish that because that was the last time we saw Andy in the episode. And so the Andy just yelling and screaming. She want to know what's going on with Gary. She's repeatedly saying she doesn't care about Jasmine and what's going on with her. So when they finally arrest Jasmine's crazy ass and walks her out, and let me not say when I say the word crazy, because I don't think she got there by herself. I think that Gary is very much so responsible for a lot of the things that Jasmine feels and what Jasmine is going through. It looks like Jasmine probably started off as a great wife, as a good wife. And as Gary began to show more of himself, that's probably when she just really, just clocked out of everything. So as she was getting arrested and getting taken out of the house, she told Andy that it's not over and called her the B word. And called her the B word again. The police officer suggested that Andy gets a restraining order. She says she's not worried about Jasmine. She's only worried about Gary. So they told her that she could come into the bedroom and see him. She was like, I don't want to see him all bloody. The police officer says he's not bloody. I said, what? He not, huh? Okay. So when she walks into the bedroom, she looks at Gary as if she's shocked about something. So I don't know. I said, you know what? Tyler, it's too early for these games. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how this is going to play out. But I'm like, why was Andy looking like that? Now, that did spark my interest. Because I was like, well, what's going on with the dude? And that's all that happened with that particular situation with Andy, Gary, and Jasmine. Now, what was once a toxic love triangle has now turned into a toxic square, meaning Aaron, Karen, Zach, and Fatima. This was a hot mess. This whole situation was a hot mess. So the first time we see them, Zach shows up to Karen's house. At this point, neither one of them have touched water. I'm just like, y'all not been to the store. He not been to Danny's house. She been, galloping around with her friends, and none of y'all have cleaned yourselves. But they talked about I talked about this scene during the trailer. As a viewer, I felt this scene was irrelevant, and as a woman who I have not been cheated on, but just I'm looking at this from Karen's perspective. For a woman who has been cheated on multiple times by Zach, why does it matter how long he's been seeing Fatima? Like, I just don't understand that. Because my thing is, does it even matter? If he was seeing Fatima while he and Karen was together, what does it change? What does this bring into their situation, whether positive nor negative? What does it change? It doesn't change anything. So I'm not really sure why Karen feels the need to know, but that is something that she wants to know. So Zach basically was like, why are you doing this? Like, why do you even want to know that? And her response was because of how Danny said, like, you talked about her, like how much you talked about her. And I'm like, all right, Karen, now you sounding like a little lovesick puppy. So we'll get to that in a minute. I just want to get through the review. So she tells that, like, you don't think, like, this how I feel. When you have ended something with someone and y'all decide to get back together or whatever happens, I don't think you owe them anything unless you have contracted something that could possibly put their health at risk, or you slept with a friend or a close family member. Other than that, there is nothing about my past or current that you need to concern yourself with, or is any of your business. So, he gives Karen some money, and this is what get me. He was like, I'm good at math. I owe you $77,000. And he began to explain where these, charges or these fees came from. And I'm just thinking, there is nobody who is walking this earth that can justify Zach having a job for 3 years and not giving Karen anything. Even if you couldn't pay the rent, bruh, you could pay the light bill. You could give her gas to put in her car. It behooves me. That's why I'm like, Tyler, I don't understand it, because there's no way you can work 3 years and not contribute a dime. But it also goes back to Karen, sis, how you even allowed something like this to happen. Like, that doesn't make sense at all. But anyway, not even going to get too deep into that. So Karen basically tells Zach, like, she has a right to know. And he was like, you got, like, basically, no, you don't. And so she was like, come on, don't act like we just wasn't effing. And he was like, yeah, you right, we was effing, but that's all it was, effing. And then he proceeds to walk his happy ass out the door. Now, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I laughed. I laughed on that part, not because it was funny, but it was karma. And this the man that you want. This is the man that you want, who didn't know I just effed you. That's all it was. And but we all know he's lying, because he basically professed his love for Karen, poured out his heart, how much he loved her. And I'm gonna tell y'all, Zach pissed me off in this episode. I'm not going to hold y'all. He really struck a nerve, because he was exactly who I expected him to be, and that was Zach. So he goes to Fatima's house, and basically he's there to give her money and to return the keys to the work truck that she has been allowing him to drive. And so he puts the stuff on the counter. And so he was like, I'm just put this here because I know I'm about to get kicked out of the group. And Fatima was like, I wouldn't even do that. Like, I don't know what kind of chicks you've been messing with. And I was like, stop. Don't blame no woman. Don't blame Karen. This is Zach. This is ultimate Zach. with this victim mentality of I know ain't nobody gonna be there for me because every time I mess up, people walk away and people no. Stop messing up. Stop doing stuff. So we see this dude. I don't even really want to get into everything that was said between them on this part. But anyway, we see this we see this dude. I said, what the hell he got on? I'm sorry, I was with Zach on that one. That shirt, I said, oh my damn. And I'm like, Fatima really don't have what damn, she don't really have a type. She has no type. Because I'm like, I can clearly see how you can mess with Hayden. Who is this dude in your house? You know what I'm saying? Like that, I was blowed in a sense because I'm like, and I can already tell how Tyler is about to chip away at Fatima's personality or who he has built her up to be to us thus far. Because I'm looking at this dude and I'm just like, Fatima, you really would, entertain him? And she obviously had sex with him, but we will see that more once she comes back from her date with him. So like I said, I don't even want to get into what all was said. It was just that scene with Zach and Zach acting, I don't know what he was trying to add macho with this man. He kind of did the same thing when he was introduced to Aaron and found out like how much money Aaron had. It's like he's intimidated by all men, to be perfectly honest. And looking at this dude, I'm like, why would you be intimidated by that? But okay, it is what it is. So to finish out this particular storyline, a nigga. So anyway, when Zach leaves, he goes back to Karen's house. I don't know if y'all noticed it, but when he was talking to Fatima on the phone, he was outside of Karen's house. So Fatima basically, ended her date with the dude. You could tell he wanted to have sex. She told him to call her in a week. He wasn't really trying to go anywhere, but she wasn't trying to go there with him sexually. And so this is why I say Zach is trash, will always be trash, and why I just don't like him. So excuse me. When he's talking to Fatima, he tells Fatima about what happened or what transpired between him and Karen. He tells her, now he did tell her the truth when he was like, neither one of them expected anything to happen like that between them. Neither, and he didn't, and neither did Karen, which was the truth. And then he says, I was over there, we were talking, and I tried to give her a hug, and she started kissing me. I said, nigga, the lies. Now, with that particular part, I have so many people who do message me about Sistas, and on this particular, I've been really quiet. Y'all already know I was on like a hiatus. I was real cool and just away from everything, and I'll tell y'all why a little bit later. But I got so many messages concerning last night's episode, and I'm like, y'all do realize that he lied to Fatima, right? Because if you go back and you look at episode 20, that is where Zach and Karen had sex. He literally cupped her chin, and she said, and I quote, she said, Zach, go. Please go, because she understood where this was heading between them. I'm like, Zach, you initiated that whole thing. So when people be like, I don't like Fatima, I really do like Fatima. And I haven't gotten to the Aaron scene yet, but excluding the scene with him or excluding his character, I felt so bad for Fatima because you can obviously tell that she has garnered feelings for Zach. Now, she wasn't completely honest herself about how she felt about the brother. Number one, because you don't know him. And this episode furthermore displayed how much she does not know Zach. She don't know when he lying. I'm sure she believed everything that he was telling her. And my thing is this, because I'm trying to figure out, why did Tyler write that lie in? So I believe either one or two things are going to happen. Either when Karen and Fatima have a conversation, Fatima is going to bring that up. Because from Fatima's perspective of Karen, all she knows is that, well, you was telling me about this dude that you was really feeling, who was nothing like your ex, who was doing things that your ex just wouldn't do, and now you kissing on Zach. I can honestly see that happening. So either that lie gonna come back and bite him in the ass, or Tyler wrote that lie and just gonna let it just forever be a lie that no one knows except for Zach and the viewers. So I really felt bad for her, because I'm like, why did you lie? That really made me, like, it really pissed me off that he did that. And I'm like, you poured out your heart to Karen, and the first opportunity that you had to throw her under the bus, he took it. Being typical as Zach, he took it. And I was like, oh, wow. So let's go to this Aaron scene. Jesus. Listen, this scene had my heart like really in shambles because I felt so bad for him. So Karen, thank you Jesus, has bathed. She got on her robe. She calls Andy, and she's trying to figure out why Andy isn't answering her phone. So there's a knock on the door. She asks who it is. No one says anything, and it's Zach. Excuse me, it's Aaron. And you could tell something was off about him when he walked in. He was stumbling, and I'm like, oh Lord, this man drunk. Jesus, Lord, no, Aaron. And so basically, just to sum up that scene, there is so much I want to talk about in this episode, but it would make this video super long. And I said that I didn't want to do any more than 30 minutes. I really don't. And I'm going to try my best not to. So, she was just like, have you been drinking? And he was like, yeah, just a little bit. And, Karen was like, it doesn't smell like a little bit. So she went to put a pot of coffee on. And he was like, he didn't want coffee. And as she's making the coffee, he takes off his shirt. He pulls down his pants. He's walking toward her and really nothing. I was like, oh God, okay. And so she was like, what are you doing? And he basically told Karen, and it's something I've said a few times in some of my reviews about how I believe that Aaron loved Karen and he was in love with her. And last night we got the opportunity to hear him verbalize how he felt. He was in love with her. He wanted her. And then on top of that, he blamed himself as to why she had sex with Zach. He was like, I put this pressure on you and I made you, I made you have sex with someone else. And he started crying. And I felt so bad for him in that moment because I'm like, damn, brother can't catch a break. And I don't think I've ever felt more conflicted about a character because I really wanted to like knock the shit out of Karen. But in the same breath, I respected her for taking complete responsibility about what she allowed to happen and that it was her fault for what happened between her and Zach. And it didn't have anything to do with Aaron. On the other side of it, it made me upset because I'm like, Aaron can't read your mind. No one knows exactly how you feel. But when Aaron called her out on that episode about her loving Zach and, she tried to deny it, it's like he gave you opportunities to be honest. He gave you, and her and Zach are liars. They both lie. And that really made me mad because when you don't deal with your undealt with emotions, you welcome innocent people into your shit. And there's a possibility that they're the ones who are going to get hurt, and then we see that. And then on the preview for next week, his thing is, he just wanted to show Karen that he could make her feel better than Zach. And, that Zach was just in her head. And she said, no, he's in my heart. And we see Aaron walking out her door, like putting his shirt on. And I was just like, this happened with men and women, but I would think more specifically women, is that we will, shout unto the mountaintop the type of man that we want, how we want him to be. And Aaron was exactly what Karen said she wanted. And you get it and you piss on it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't understand that. In a sense, I guess I do, but I'm going to do a bonus video on that particular subject. Like, what's the reason that we reject the very thing that we say we want? But I'll get to that a little later. So he started crying and she was consoling him. That was my favorite scene of the night. So going back to Fatima and Zach goes back to her house to get the money because she said that she didn't want it. She was going to take the money to the door. I said, okay, Fatima, you're doing a little too much, but all right, sis. And when Zach came, Zach had all the audacity this episode. He told Fatima, I want you and her. What? First of all, okay. Then he says, haven't you ever been confused, Fatima? I asked you earlier, had you been confused, and you couldn't even answer me. This is why I said earlier that confused bull crap is just a justification. Because what are you confused about? Because if I was Fatima and I'm asked, well, Alicia, have you ever been confused before? I would have said, yes, I've been confused before. Zach, we've all been confused. But what are you confused about now? And I hate when certain things are not asked to for a fuller or a better explanation. Because what are you confused about? We don't know. What are you confused? You say you want Fatima and you want Karen. What do you want to do? You want to just date them both? You want to have sex with them both? You want to go between them? But like, what do you want? Because I'm like, for someone to say that they're confused, he sounded very sure of himself when he said that he wanted Fatima and Karen. So I'm like, what are you confused about, sir? I don't see it. I don't get it. And then he told Fatima, you everything. You make me feel amazing. And I don't understand how someone who treats me like shit can make me love them so much. That was it for me. You're not going to stand in my house and tell me, he didn't say, because, I still love my ex. I love her so much. This is the same woman who you talk bad about every time you get a chance to Fatima. But you love her so much. I don't understand it. And I said, you know what the reality is? Karen don't make you feel like shit. That's just something that I believe that Zach has become comfortable in saying because it justifies how he acts. It justifies what he does. She treat me like shit, so I don't help her. She treat me like shit, so I cheat. She treat me like shit, so this is what I do. No. You're doing exactly what you want to do, and you're doing exactly what Karen is allowing you to do because there's no consequence for his actions. Because you leave, y'all break up, you get up, you tell him to come back. Just like we're seeing now, or in the process of seeing now. It's just stupid. It's just dumb. They pissed me off. I felt so bad for Fatima because she was like, I feel so stupid. I feel like shit. I'm embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? And I feel bad for her because she honestly really enjoys being around Andy and the girls. And it's like, how does that look? Because one thing I think we all can agree on is that perception is everything. It's how it looks. You look guilty. You look like there was how is it that you're dating Karen's ex, your boss's best friend? Like it just looks weird. And that's just like, you could be sitting down and your man or your girl catch you with somebody sitting next to you and they may feel, hey, y'all vibe a little too strong for me. What the hell going on? And you like, babe, I don't even know this person. They just sat down like literally 15 seconds before you came. But it's all about perception. And I just felt so bad for Fatima. Like, I really, really did. But I just see her, like, when I was saying, like, Fatima ain't no different than any of those other girls. And she's not. But one thing I do respect about Fatima is that she put her foot down when she told Zach, you will not be staying here tonight. He did not stay there that night. And I completely respect her because you just got done from being all up in your ex and you ain't even washed your ass. And you trying to touch on me. Oh, God. I wish you would have kneed him in the nuts. But anyway, on from them. I just couldn't stand that. Ugh. Sabrina and Calvin. This is another storyline that just pisses me off. I don't have much to say on this, but I will say these few things. When Calvin left and Sabrina told Jacoby to put his clothes on and that he needed to leave, he should have just left. I don't understand the reason that he, waited around for her to come out because she done called Danny. She's been in her room forever. And I'm like, nigga, why you still there? Why are you still there? So Calvin goes home and he tells Maurice everything that has happened at Sabrina's house. He tells he tells Maurice about Jacoby being there, being naked in the refrigerator. And oh God. And Maurice was like, what? Like, he being his extra self. And so Calvin was like, I'm going back over there. Then before that, he tried to blame Maurice. It was like, well, if you wouldn't have told her that I was in there with some dude. I'm like, no, don't blame Maurice for that. Sabrina was going to do what she wanted to do anyway, and that had nothing to do with it. Now, the little nasty message she left and all of that was totally on her. So he goes back. So Maurice says, you went over there without calling? And Calvin says, yes. He was like, why would you do some stupid shit like that? I said, for the first time in a long time, me and Maurice on the same page because I know I got a lot of flack for so you ain't call her? You just popped up at her house? Where they do that at? They don't. They don't. So he was like, I'm going back over there. I said, oh, my God. So Maurice, being a friend, he called Sabrina to let her know that Calvin was on his way over to her house. So when Calvin gets there, he walks in. She didn't stop him. She didn't say, no, you can't come in. She lets him come in and he tells Jacoby that he needs to leave and that he wasn't going to tell him again. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. What is this? What are we in the Twilight Zone? How you come to somebody's house who you're not even dating, you're not seeing, and you're regulating who she has in her apartment? So as Jacoby walks by, he give him that little shoulder lean hit, and he leaves. And Sabrina is mouthing like please to Jacoby so that he wouldn't do anything to Calvin. Now, we all know Sabrina ain't the brightest crayon in the box. We ain't even gonna act like we don't know that, because we all know that. But last night I was like, damn, sis, are you even in the crayon box? Are you even a crayon tonight? We know you ain't the brightest one, but can you at least have a glimpse of a glow? Because the fact that when Calvin told Sabrina, sit down, I'm talking, did y'all see how she jumped and went and sat down? I was like, wait, what? What is this? Now, don't get me wrong. Some of the things that Calvin was saying to Sabrina was accurate, on point, 100, bullseye. But it's just the disrespect for me. You came I don't know really. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. But I'm glad that he put two and two together to see the reason why Maurice had him take a drug test. It was because Sabrina believed that he was on meth. And when you think about it, Sabrina has really done some foul things to Calvin. So when he was like, I don't even know why I want to deal with you, I just want to be done with you, I said, bro, be done. Because I want to know too, why the hell you want to deal with Sabrina? Sabrina just got done getting some good, or at least that's what it looked like to me. You know what I'm saying? It looked like it was a real good time. And when you say you just done, you're leaving. No, Calvin, no. What the hell you want him to stay for? Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want, Lord. We want new storylines, Lord. That's what we want. But that's all I gotta say about that. Danny and Preston were absolutely adorable last night. And they were just talking. They were taking a bath together, and Danny's phone kept going off. And it was Sabrina calling her because she needed advice on what to do. I'm like, why? I think friendship is a beautiful thing. I love the friends that I have, the sister circle that I have. These are some friends who I have known since elementary school. Some of my friends are those I met in middle, high, college, and they are still, so necessary in my life today. But we don't do that. Every friendship is different. I'm like, you can't even sit with your thoughts about how you should handle your situation before you calling somebody on the phone. Same thing with Karen. She was calling Andy because she needed advice. What you need advice on, sis? Can't deal with your stuff first, and then once you come to a conclusion, then reach out to your friend like, sis, this is what I've been thinking. You know what I'm saying? It probably is not the best thing for me to do. I don't know how to deal with this. I thought I was over him. I really did. Then I'm like, sex has made y'all that confused? Now you don't know what the hell you want because you caught a nut? It's so interesting. It's so interesting to me. That's all I had on the show. I don't know what I missed. I could have missed some things. But I think last night was just when they released the trailer, I was excited. So I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I was excited. The closer it got to the premiere of season 3, I wasn't really excited because in my mind, I'm like, but we picking up exactly where we left off. So there's not much, there's no growth, there's no anything. We've been on the same night for 4 episodes. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's hard. And I was listening to a chat that the cast did on Twitter, and it was an audible chat. And Ebony, who plays Karen, she was she was saying that this is the season. This is the season. She was stating that this is the most difficult time that she's had recording or filming any season of Sistas. So it did kind of get me excited as to what's to come. But then again, it's but we probably ain't gonna get into it until episode 16. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of like, I don't know. I think that a lot of people are getting, they were tired last season, the last couple episodes, but then when you got to pit back where they left off, and you have to deal with that stuff again, it's like, I don't really know the word to really describe it. But even so, with that, I got a lot of messages, and I didn't address majority of them. So I know I had been talking to y'all a while ago about Patreon, and so what I am going to do is that this Sunday my Patreon will be live, and I will have bonus episodes of Sistas on Patreon and a host of other things. But to it won't be available on YouTube. It'll only be available through my Patreon. And if you follow me, make sure you follow me on Instagram, Hustle Queen Lee. All the information will be in the description box. So you can get more information about it. And it is a better way for us to get to know each other, for me to like show y'all a little bit more of my life and the things that I do. That's why I basically kind of took a hiatus, because I knew once this started back up again, then my life was going to be a lot busier. And so I just want to, let you guys in on that. But if you haven't heard of Patreon, it's a great way for creators to make money. That's really it, to make money by giving exclusive content. So things that anybody who becomes a Patreon or becomes a part of my Patreon, you will be able to see things and hear things that is not going to be released to anybody else. And so there are 4 tiers: $5, $10, $15, $20 tiers. It doesn't matter what you give, you get the same content regardless. But I want to dig a little deeper in this episode, because there was so much in here that I think just got completely ignored. And it was like, because a lot of things were rushed. It feels weird. But yeah, make sure you follow me so you get more information on that. I thank you guys for riding with me, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Like I said, my favorite scene was with Karen and Aaron, just because it really made me feel so many things. When you dealing with someone's feelings and you're not ready for that, I hate when people do that. I would say the scene and I felt bad for Fatima. I ain't gonna say a scene that I hated. I just felt bad that Fatima was lied to, and Fatima was like almost kind of being played for a fool. But we are also seeing Fatima's weakness as well, come out. The fact that she's even considering still dealing with Zach while he still have these unresolved feelings for Karen. So that's going to be, that is going to be interesting. So that's all I have. I went over 30 minutes, but, that's cool. That's cool. But, yeah, I will be here. I will be, soon and very soon, we will meet again to discuss Sistas. I would love to hear your input about what you thought about the episode. What did you really think about that scene with Karen and Aaron? How did that make you feel? And how did that make you feel that Zach lied to Fatima when he really had no reason to? Yeah. So I will holler at y'all later. Until next time, y'all be safe out there. One.